Welcome to Who's Who of Asian Americans in Houston. I'm your host, Jimmy Ma. We have a very special guest in the studio with us today, Vincent Luan.
Hi, everybody.
Vincent, you are a well-known dentist in Houston. Could you tell us a little bit about what you do?
So I am a pediatric dentist. I practice in the Richmond-Rosenberg area with my sister. We have a group practice together.
I know that you were born in Canada.
Correct.
But you moved to Houston when you were 3 years old.
Correct.
Tell us about your experiences growing up in Houston in the 80s and 90s.
Growing up in the 80s, the early 80s, there weren't that many Asian people here. It was almost like the wild, wild west, almost. Most of my friends were Caucasian friends. The only Asian friends that I had, the only Chinese friends I had were in Chinese school. It was really good that my parents really strongly recommended that I go to Chinese school on weekends, because in that way I can learn about my culture and make friends with people with similar backgrounds as me. And actually the friends that I made in Chinese school are my friends today.
Because you share the same cultural experience, the
Correct.
same background. Now, that's why you speak Mandarin fluently till this day. And
Correct.
that's very rare for people growing up at that time.
Correct.
Because a lot of times, you know, our parents that came as immigrants, they want their kids to be able to speak English fluently, and they did not emphasize that your heritage and your native tongue is important. But your parents were able to do that. That's why you and your sister both speak Mandarin fluently,
Correct.
which is rare. I'm sure that you appreciate them now for forcing you to go to Chinese school.
Right.
Because it's like double. You had to go to school Monday to Friday, and then on the weekends you have to go learn Chinese.
Right, on weekends you wanted to play, hang out with your friends, but instead you're in Chinese school all day.
Where did you go to high school, Vincent?
I went to Strake Jesuit.
Okay. And then after that, you went on to?
I went to Baylor University for undergrad. And then I went to University of Texas, Houston for dental school. Then I went to California for hospital residency, and then I moved to New York for my pediatric dental training.
What made you decide to focus on dentistry?
I wanted to become a dentist. I knew I wanted to become a dentist when I was about 12 years old. I had a traumatic dental injury to my face, and at the time we didn't have money to get my teeth fixed. And so, you know, the first thing that people see is your smile, right? And so when I had this injury, it made me really self-conscious, brought down my self-esteem, made it lower. I was afraid to look people in the eye. I would look down when I was speaking with people. I would not smile, and when I did smile, I would hold my hand to my face. And because of that ordeal, traumatic experience that I went through, I knew that after I got my teeth fixed, my self-esteem came back. I was able to laugh without hiding my face. It really changed my entire outlook. And so at that point, I knew that I wanted to become a dentist, more specifically a pediatric dentist, so I can help kids so they wouldn't go through the same traumatic experience that I went through.
That is about as good as a reason there could be to become someone, because you're helping, and you're giving back, you're helping them. You enjoy your profession. It's not just a job for you.
I love it. I love it.
Wow, I did not know that story. It does sound like it's very traumatic, and we don't realize how much it affects a person's youth and confidence. It affects their whole life down the road.
Right.
But you were able to turn that into a positive and be focused. Now, you and your sister are both dentists.
Correct.
Where did your sister go to school?
So she went to University of Texas, Houston dental school with me. Then she did a hospital residency at Harvard, and then she did her pediatric training at University of Texas, San Antonio.
So it's just the two of you in the family.
Correct.
So your parents must be very proud of you guys, because this is the epitome of the American dream. They gave up a lot to move here.
They sacrificed a lot.
What did your parents do? Well, first of all, when they were in their home country, just like a lot of first-generation immigrants, they were white-collar, office jobs and whatnot.
Very successful,
Yeah.
very comfortable.
But they had to give that all up because they want their children to have a better life. So they moved to a foreign country, learning a second language, and most of them had to choose to get into retail business.
Correct.
Because it's hard to work for a big company when you don't speak the language. What did your parents do?
So when my parents first moved to the United States, my mom had a basic job. She was a key punch personnel for Kmart. And my dad was a travel agent.
It's actually, your dad actually became very successful at doing what he does because the travel agency is very well known in Southwest Houston and the Alief area.
Right, global travel.
Global travel. A lot of people book tickets and book vacations through you guys. But as a retail business, it was a 24/7 type of job.
Yes, it was. Absolutely correct.
So you and your sister saw your parents' struggles and appreciated them even more. That's what kind of, I would say, made you more motivated because you could just have a very comfortable life without being a dentist. You can make it an easy life, or you can make it take more risks and take more ownership of your business because you have 2 locations now.
Correct.
And you're expanding very rapidly.
Correct.
And what made you want to take that risk to become a business owner instead of just a medical provider?
So I became a pediatric dentist because I wanted to help people, and I interact really well with the patients. I feel that both my sister and I are really great at what we do. Not only are we great clinicians, but then we're also great at relating with people, putting kids at ease, especially since I had a traumatic experience when I was younger, so I put myself in their situation. And so a lot of our patients always ask us, hey, are you going to open another location? You know, we're driving from over an hour and a half away. We're driving from here. Are you going to open another location? And that's kind of what gave us the idea to expand.
Because I know that your practice is so successful that unless you're a returning patient, you guys, I think, stop taking new patients. That's how busy you guys are.
We'll always take new patients because we don't ever want to turn anybody away. We became pediatric dentists to help people, and we didn't want to be so busy that, oh, we can't help you. We always want to keep our doors open and always want to help people and don't turn any of the kids away.
Very nice, because I wanted to be a patient, but I couldn't because I'm a little over the age limit.
That's right.
Not a lot of people know that you do a lot of work outside of your profession. You firmly believe, I think your parents instilled that in you at a young age to give back to the community. Could you tell our audience a little bit about what you do outside of work?
So a couple of things that I do. I really feel strongly in giving back because I feel that I'm blessed that I'm able to do what I do, and not everybody's as fortunate as we are. So some of the things that we do, for one, I go to Honduras to provide dental care for some of the kids that live in this third world country. Some of the patients that we see live in the city dump. So basically they live on a mountain of trash in a third world country. They're born there, they eat there, they fight vultures for food, and then we have a clinic where we see these kids. And these kids are just really, really great kids. It really helps you appreciate life, and it's good to be reminded of that. One of my favorite patients that I saw, she had some teeth problems, and since we had so many people waiting outside, I wasn't able to do immediate treatment that day. So I asked her, first of all, she walked over 5 miles by herself to come to the clinic. And unfortunately, I was not able to do the treatment that day because, like I said, we had so many patients waiting that I asked her if she could come back tomorrow. And she said, yes, I can come, but can you see me after 3? Because I'm lucky enough, fortunate enough that I am able to go to school and I don't want to miss school. And I was like, wow.
That puts everything in perspective.
It does, and she's a 7-year-old child and she thinks like that.
But going to Honduras is a big commitment because, first of all, that is people, the crime with the
exactly
the basic facility that's needed. So for you, you're really doing a lot more than you needed to.
It is. So I always felt, that whenever I donated money, I was helping. And there's nothing wrong with donating money, but I also felt, a lot of people can give money. But the real thing is that I have a skill set and it's greatly needed there. And because of the way it is, because it's such a it's not only is it time commitment, because you got to spend a week there away from your office. You're not seeing patients. You're not bringing in any income. You put yourself in a dangerous situation. It's a third world country. It's dangerous. And then when we're there, it's, we're just seeing patients after patients. It's not like we're going there and we're relaxing. We're just seeing patients, But I feel strongly. And now that I have built a bond relationship with the people there, it's easier to go back. Even though it's safe, even though it's not safe, it's dangerous, it's a huge commitment. But now that I have a relationship with these people, it makes it easy to go back. It makes me want to go back.
So you do this regularly every year?
I do it every year. I do.
It's not a one-time deal where you just go once,
Correct.
But this is something that you're truly committed to, and
Right.
that's part of your life.
I mean, I truly care about the people there. They've affected me positively. They've given me so much. They're so appreciative. And it just warms my heart that I can do a little bit and help them out.
It's not just a little bit, because you don't have to do this. So it's always good to be able to appreciate what you have and
Right.
to give back. Now, speaking of giving back, you are also on a lot of very interesting, how do I say this, positions outside of work. I heard that you are a dentist for the Olympic team.
Yes, so what that is I'm a dentist for the United States Olympic Committee. So whenever the Olympic athletes need dental care, they'll come, the USOC will refer them to my office and we'll take care of them at no charge.
You have to be at the top of your profession to be able to basically work with the U.S. Olympic Committee. So at a very young age, you've achieved a lot of success.
Thank you.
Like I said, your parents really were able to raise you and your sister and achieve a true American dream. So we're going to take a very short break, and when we come back, we'll continue the amazing journey of Dr. Vincent Luan. Welcome back to Who's Who of Asian Americans in Houston. I'm your host, Jimmy Ma. We have Dr. Vincent Luan with us today.
Hello.
Vincent, right before the break, we're talking about how you were selected to be on the U.S. Olympic team dentist. That is an honor that you cannot just apply for. You have to be selected based on your reputation and your expertise in your field of work. But you also told me something else during the break, that you're also the team dentist for the U.S. rugby team.
For the U.S. rugby team.
So how did you get on that?
Because of my involvement in team dentistry, team sports, they somehow found me and asked me if I would like to be the United States rugby team dentist.
Have you actually traveled with the team, or do you actually go with them to?
Whenever they have games, there's, I think, a couple of other dentists that are also with the rugby team. And so whenever there's certain games and they want me to go, I will go. Last time we had a game here in Houston at the Dynamo Stadium, and I basically sat next to the field, right next to the players, and just watched out, make sure they were okay dentally.
That just sounds really interesting and fun, because you can't just become, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's not easy. And also, my image of Olympic team or professional sports teams, physicians or dentists usually are going to be someone that's in the business for a lot longer, because they have time to build their reputation. For you, you're quite young for someone that made it to the top of the profession already. That also showed that how much work you put in, because I know in the first few years out of dental school, you had a very strong work ethic. And that work ethic was instilled by your parents from watching them struggle and become successful after you immigrated here. You also told me that you take your parents on very long trips overseas. I think you just went to, was it Australia?
Australia.
For like almost a month?
Yes, my sister and I would take our parents to Australia. We take our parents on a couple of trips a year because not only are my parents getting older and I want to spend quality time with them, not like on the phone and, them sitting next to me, but spend quality time, go expose them to things that they've never seen or never really even dreamt about experiencing. And the reason why I really wanted to do this, or my sister and I wanted to do this for our parents, is because, as you know, they were travel agents. Now they're retired. And they were travel agents, but, the sad thing was they never traveled because they were so busy working all the time, taking care of us. And so I felt really strongly, just part of, showing them thanks and appreciation, my love for them, to give back and expose them to, these vacations.
So growing up, you saw your parents, but I mean, they had a retail store, so they had to be in the office.
Correct.
But even at home, you had to see them work also. Why is that?
So, they had to work harder than their peers. Being Asian business owner, you know, in the United States, you have to work twice as hard. So there are many instances of them, you know, getting a phone call in the middle of the night. Something happened, somebody needed a flight ASAP out. And so I remember my parents, you know, getting all of us, going to the office, 2 a.m., you know, issuing the ticket and then dropping it off at their customer's house. And this didn't happen just a couple of times. It happened a lot, you know.
Their customers became their friends because of the service they provided. Because usually when it's an emergency as an immigrant, it's usually someone, their parents or someone getting sick or a funeral or something important. Whereas, I mean, booking an international ticket before having an internet, you had to go to the travel agency. And it was not easy. So you had to see that growing up, you know, going to the office in the middle of the night. And because of that, they're working and they were supporting you guys, so they didn't travel. And that is also why you wanted to take them to travel with you.
Exactly.
Like I said, it's very unique because here in the States, in our culture, is that a lot of times you grow up, you get out the house, you have your own career, your own life. A lot of people see their parents only once a year during Christmas or Thanksgiving. You not only enjoy spending time with them, you actually spend a lot of time with them. You appreciate them more than most of the kids I know that grew up here because, I mean, you know, being our Asian culture is to have a very tight-knit family. Not only that, you and your sister are also very close. You were able to work together. You were a very good role model for her, obviously, because she also is a very successful pediatric dentist.
Correct.
Being 3 years older is a lot of responsibility. I also know that you purchased season tickets, courtside season tickets for your dad. I mean, that is a big gift for someone. You know, for someone that enjoys basketball, that is the ultimate gift. And we all grew up as Houston Rockets fans. What did your dad say when you got him the tickets?
I remember when we were growing up, you know, my dad one day, I always liked Michael Jordan. I remember him surprising me with like nosebleed seats. Basically, it was the last row of the entire stadium.
And for them, that's still a lot because,
I mean, he sacrificed to be able to buy me those tickets from my sister and I. And so when Jeremy Lin came to the Houston Rockets, I was like, you know what? My dad's a huge Jeremy Lin fan, huge Rockets fan. So let me get him season tickets. And so that's how that happened.
You and your sister are able to enjoy the game from all the way from up there in 20 years, from nosebleed seats to courtside in 20 years.
Yes, we're really blessed.
That's right. You've achieved the American dream, but you still remember what your parents told you to give back and to have a sense of community, to grow and build here. This is our hometown now. Even though we say this is a melting pot, you're able to maintain your identity and your heritage because you still speak Mandarin, your sister speaks Mandarin fluently, and you still speak to your parents in their native tongue. Okay, what else do you do outside of the scope of your normal routine that's given back to your profession and given back to the community?
I'm also the associate professor for the University of Texas Houston Dental School. I feel strongly about teaching the dental students about how it is being a clinician in the real world. I find it very important. I had great role models when I was in dental school, and so I just wanted to give back to the dental school that was so great to me.
To continue the transition, because you had good role models, and you want to be a good role model for the next generation of dentists to do the right thing.
Correct.
Because you could just travel the world and worry about your business. You don't have to do this. Not only do you teach, you also are very involved in the local dentist community.
Correct. So I was selected by my peers in pediatric dentistry. The past president of the Houston Academy of Pediatric Dentistry. I just feel that as a society, you want to help people, increase people's awareness to proper dental health.
And all of this is obviously from your own beliefs and also from what your parents instilled in you.
Correct. My parents instilled in me work hard, be honest, and treat people how you would like to be treated. And I really feel strongly in that, and I use that as my motto in life.
Treat people the way you want to be treated.
Correct.
That is a very good analogy to your life, to your success. And we thank you for coming on the show, and we'll see you again, Vincent.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for tuning in.